What what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another Bringing It to the Ring podcast episode with myself and Wolf. Willie unfortunately was not able to make it here tonight. He had to take care of some other obligations, but he hopefully will be with us the next time we do an episode for you guys. But today we're going to be predicting Saturday night main event. This Saturday is Saturday night main event. There's only 5 matches that are on the card as of right now. There are some that's been kind of altered to an extent, with the World Championship being one of them, and also another match being added, which was Drew and Sammy, which we'll talk about later on. But the first thing that I want to talk about is the Women's United States Championship. Now we've been going through a tournament these past few weeks, and now it's safe to say that we are probably about to be able to crown our first champion very, very soon. Now, the 4 people that are left as the time of us we're doing this podcast episode are Tiffany Stratton is one, then the other will be Meechin, Chelsea Green, and Bailey. All 4 of them are the 4 finalists, and they will pretty much be going to a one-on-one this week on SmackDown. But Wolf, what are your thoughts and opinions, and who do you think pretty much will advance out of these 2 matches?
I think the only correct finals is Chelsea Green versus Meechin.
Mm-hmm.
I can live with Bailey versus Meechin as the
Yeah.
finals also, because that would be a good match. I just don't think Byron says that has been saying that
Mm-hmm.
Bailey's gonna win it. I don't see. I think she's the last person that should win it. I don't think she needs it at all. It would kind of take away from the point of the Women's United States title, because
Right.
like if we're just giving it to a main event level talent like Bailey, then why are we having it a mid card title? Like
At all,
no,
really. Like,
yeah, like
and people kind of went, I would say,
oh
kind of crazy for one of the takes that I did have. And I pretty much said in one of my recent videos is that if we would have had a mid card title back then when it was like 2017 when she came out to the roster and stuff like that, I don't really think we would have seen Bailey become women's world champion or at all. Because I feel like,
yeah,
yes, she was one of the 4 horsewomen, but it seemed like, and it's even still, they always put, Charlotte, Becky, and
yeah,
Mercedes on the bigger cards and putting, more stock into them than they did Bailey. Bailey was always
yeah,
just seen as a step behind from everybody else. And I feel like if we would have had mid card title back then, I don't think we will be having a conversation right now to where she is a actual women's champion. Like IC champ, absolutely. US, absolutely. But the thing with her, it's like I feel like this. With a lot of her championship reigns, they never really amount to much. Like, the moment's
um,
cool. Yeah, the only championship like reign that I actually would give a credit to is literally like her pandemic run when she was a
pandemic,
heel. Like
yeah,
and I always said it, like she always her title reigns haven't always been the best. Like,
yeah.
yeah, the pandemic run that she had was absolutely really good. That was like her
But
best work
nobody was there. It's the same as Drew McIntyre. Like nobody was. Um,
on that level just yet. And that's the closest thing
yeah,
that they had.
yeah, yeah. I mean, no, there were people, but like the thing is, there was like no like crowd. There was no interaction. Like it was kind of. It's unfortunate. Like her best like championship reign was during the time that everyone wants to forget because of
Yeah,
the depression that it caused. Um,
it really did. It's not even funny.
yeah.
I
And
just
then
don't.
afterwards we got like Sasha as champ like right after Bailey, so
Yeah,
mm,
pretty much. It's
yeah.
just like I with a lot of her title reigns, like I said, like the one this year wasn't really good. The moment itself with her winning the Royal Rumble and her going on to face for the title and her winning it was really good. And the turn, I think all that was executed, but it's like it's the chase that's always been good with her. The reign However, has never really been that up to par like a lot of people would think. Like
Yeah.
that's why I said she right now. I feel like the whole point of the mid card title is to help up and coming wrestlers who are on the cusp of pretty much breaking into the world title scene at
Right.
some point. What would be the point of doing that? And you're giving somebody who's already been established for years at this point in Bailey. It just wouldn't make sense. The only thing that would make sense by giving it to her is like you have an established name. Whoever beats her is pretty much going to be. They're going to try to make it a big deal. But I can't put
Even
a lot of
then,
stock into that.
I don't think it's necessary. I
It's
think
not.
given the people that are in the others that are in this tournament, they've already showcased enough where they deserve something
Hmm.
on them. Like, and keep in mind, Tiffany, she's missed Money in the Bank, so in my eyes, she doesn't need the women's United States title. But like, if she did win that and she also held Miss Money in the Bank,
That's kind of I literally said that. That literally gives me the Miz vibes from 2010 because you remember he was holding the U.S. title and the Money in the Bank contract, and he lost the U.S. Championship before eventually cashing in and becoming WWE champion that year. So
yeah,
it would give me parallels to that, but I feel like she's already gonna be involved in a
she's
big story
yeah, and
with
she's
Victoria
already
cashing in.
guaranteed. Yeah, like not to mention she's basically going to be a women's champion. Probably taking it from Nia. Uh,
Don't know when
and
that's gonna be. Really, I
yeah,
don't know
it's gonna be before Mania, 100% before Mania.
because
Um,
I'm
because
surprised on this one.
Mania, they definitely want Tiffany versus Charlotte
I
for the
really do.
title.
Yeah. And I don't
Everyone
know
wants
when they're gonna do
it.
that.
The WWE wants it. It's clear. It's clear the agenda is Tiffany versus Charlotte for the title, with Tiffany as champion. So it's gonna
It
be
really is.
before Mania. Might maybe at Rumble, it'll happen, but I don't know.
I'm literally trying
Um,
to predict when I could see her catching in because I thought going into the show we would have seen something at least involving Nia potentially defending the title. Um Maybe at the next Saturday night main event in January,
maybe
probably for the Rumble.
or the
Maybe
Rumble. Yeah,
or I don't maybe between now and then they do a title
I
match
don't
on
know if I can.
SmackDown.
I don't know if I can see a cash in on SmackDown. I mean, maybe if they do, maybe if Charlotte comes back and they do Nia Charlotte, but
Yeah, because it's the only way I can see it. Once we see Nia potentially have that happening. Now we did see Tiffany pretty much, come in on NXT, but that's just the tease. Like
I
she can
don't.
cash on any brand, but she's not
Right.
cashing in
He's
NXT
not
because like
cashing in on.
that would be like the literally the most stupidest thing I ever seen.
Yeah.
You were NXT Women's Champion with last year, and then you got brought up to the main roster like this year, early this year, like in the lead up to like Elimination Chamber, for
Right.
you to literally go back down to NXT in the same year to win the
There's
championship. Why would you do that?
that. Yeah.
That
There's no need.
Now I think she did talk about potentially making a move to Raw. The
Yeah.
only way I can see that is if she potentially still wins the championship on that brand, or like they do like a switcheroo or something like that where
And they
Nia
do.
like Nia gets sent to Raw with the title and Liv gets sent to SmackDown with the title
Yeah. I
because it's gonna
mean,
go like 3 hours.
true. Yeah. True. Especially since they're already uh seemingly showcasing that Gunther will go to SmackDown and
Cody, yeah.
uh Cody goes to Raw.
Because it's already
So
been kind of confirmed. Because I think Netflix, they're the three biggest stars that they want on that brand is Roman, Cody, and CM Punk. They want those big three right there
yep.
on Netflix. And then I guess if you do that, maybe Seth Rollins sticks around on Raw, and then maybe Drew goes to SmackDown, and then maybe you send like Finn Balor and um Dom to SmackDown. I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like Judgment Day is probably gonna go to SmackDown, I think. At first, I wasn't too keen
Yeah.
on the idea of them going to SmackDown, but, like, if it's going back 3 hours, then I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Or
But it
maybe
will
it's
kinda
maybe they split Judgment Day. They
Yeah,
Uh,
because on SmackDown they did see something with
they
Dominic
do
talking in the
Dom,
background.
Liv, and
Raquel
Raquel to
to
SmackDown,
SmackDown,
and
and then I
then
guess
Balor,
Finn,
JD,
JD, and
and
Carlito on Raw.
yeah,
I
good
don't
work.
know. I just, I mean, I don't think he needs to stay on Raw because, like, we know that world title scene is going to be way more kind of just flustered out and fleshed out to where it's like, I can't see Finn Balor getting his hands on the world title when you have Roman over there, when you have CM Punk over there and
Right.
stuff like that, and Cody. I don't see it. Like, sending him over to SmackDown, we has a little bit more of an opportunity to get that world title,
I
considering.
mean, I think it would be very interesting to see Balor versus Cody as a world title feud, but I mean, I don't
I
know.
just wouldn't buy into it because that thing with Cody, and we'll get into it later, but it's like they always make every opponent seem like they don't stand a chance against Cody. They don't book any of his opponents to seem like they're a threat to him or his title reign. We've never had an opportunity up at this point where his title reign has literally been in jeopardy. The only
I
time
mean,
that I can see right now is pretty much with this whole Kevin Owens story. The only time his championship can probably be in jeopardy
I
outside of this
think
Kevin
the
Owens thing
only
is Randy
reason
and
we didn't
Bloodline.
think it was a like the Cody's um a title is in reign was in jeopardy was because it was too soon and because of how over Cody is and how he's
Yeah,
basically the face of the company. Like we knew like he's not gonna lose it like right away. Like
yeah,
um
that's true.
it would make no sense, especially since WWE considers him like Cena, a new Cena. Like
And somebody literally said this. And when it comes regarding the titles, when it comes to Cody Rhodes' title, it feels like that title is pretty much on a level to where if you're gonna hold that title, you have to be literally one of the biggest stars in the company. Because that's how they've been presenting it. If you're gonna hold that WWE championship, you have to literally be the biggest star in that entire company or on that roster to hold that belt. And
yeah.
the only person I can realistically see people don't like it, Seth Rollins. If they can book this heel character up with this whole thing with CM Punk the right way,
Seth
I can
and
see Seth.
Cody again?
Because think about it. Seth Rollins never really got a legit win on Cody, right? So he might still have some gripes there. And then everything that happened this year with the bloodline, and now he might feel that Cody's still kind of being somewhat buddy buddy with Roman. He might kind of be on the same type of timing that Kevin Owens is on, and it might proceed to maybe make a turn at some point. So, all in all, I can see a situation where down the line, I don't see it being like on WrestleMania. Absolutely not. I wish, but no. Maybe like on a SummerSlam, maybe if they want to do that, maybe SummerSlam. But I don't know. SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble, Chamber. I don't know, but I don't see it. But we're kind of went off topic just a little bit.
Yeah,
But as far as
sorry.
the U.S. title, goes, who do you have winning the entire thing? I know you said
I
that
have
the finals is Michin and Chelsea.
Michin and Chelsea.
Okay.
I think Michin deserves it a little bit more just because Michin has gotten more wins and like that
Yeah.
she has more credibility to her. Because Chelsea's great, but she is a comedy act. She's
Yeah.
kind of lost more than she's won. Um,
Yeah.
so
That
I think it would be really it would be make sense for Michin to finally get rewarded a bit and get that women's US title.
I
Especially cuz she deserves it. She is good enough
She really
to
does.
get
She really does deserve it because, like, you think of the year that she's had, right?
yeah,
Like you said, going back to last year, she wasn't even on TV at all. For going from that
pretty
to
much.
this year, pretty much having some of the best matches on SmackDown. She had a great match with Chelsea Gray in that dumpster match that people didn't think was going to be good whatsoever, and she shocked a lot of people. The match that she had with Nia Jax, she literally took Nia Jax to the limit and literally had
Yep.
inches away, pretty much pulling off the shock of the year by beating Nia Jax and becoming WWE Women's Champion. If I'm being honest, if they can continue the trajectory that they're on with her, I would say maybe she wins the Women's Money in the Bank for 2025.
Yeah,
If they
I
keep
could
it
see
like
it.
this,
Yeah.
you put the briefcase on her. I really think you put the briefcase on her next year and have her hold it for a couple of months to a year, or something like that, and win the championship. That's how I see it. But
Yeah.
as far as this goes, I want to see her win. But I think kind of if you're looking at the story that they've been telling, because like Chelsea's in this feud somewhat with like Bianca and stuff like that, and they've been kind of downplaying her as like, oh, you're not gonna win this championship. You don't have what it takes. They're kind of making her look like a joke and stuff like that, right? I'm gonna say Chelsea wins because I feel like she can use that as she can shove it in their face, like, oh,
Mhm.
you said I didn't win, but I did, and stuff like that. You can kind of continue that feud. And then maybe at some point you do have Meechin take it off of her, and you still have that story going on between her and Piper, where maybe it looks like Piper could potentially turn at some point. And maybe if Piper gets it off Chelsea, then maybe Meechin takes it off Piper. I feel like
Yeah.
either Meechin is going to become the second or third women's U.S. champion. That's if she doesn't get traded over to Raw and go after the IC. That's how I personally feel. But like the thing with Chelsea, she doesn't really win a lot. That's my thing. But if you go back to like the history between her and Meechin did win the last match when it was the dumpster match. And I think
Yeah.
before that, I think on a SmackDown before that, a couple weeks prior to that, Chelsea did get a win over Meechin, and then Meechin won in the dumpster match. So if we're going by logic, then I think Chelsea wins here. And then maybe you tell a story going after that. Maybe Meechin wins it. Maybe, I don't know. Because I feel like a lot of these titles are going to be involved at Mania, right?
Yeah.
So I can see a Chelsea going into Mania as U.S. champion, and I think do like what they always do with the men. If you're gonna do a men's ladder match, I know they did with the tag titles this year. Maybe do a ladder match for the women's U.S. title, where she can have a plethora of talent that want that belt. You can have a Meechin in there. You can have a Piper in there, pretty much trying to make sure she walks out as champion. You can potentially put maybe like other wrestlers on there if you want to add some people that they bring over to Raw. Maybe if they bring Zelina Vega over, she can be in the mix. If you have Ivy Nile, because she's gonna pretty much be with the what do you call them now? American Made. Maybe if
Yeah.
because they're on SmackDown now, so maybe she's the mix. So you can have a plethora of women on the brand, and we still don't know if where Jordan Grace is going to come in and what brand she's going to be on. So she could pretty much be in that match as well. So you can pretty much build up to WrestleMania from what December to April, which is only like what 3-4 months. So she
Yeah.
has a 3-4 month reign with the belt, which is not that bad. But at least within that time, you can build up the title to at least mean something.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say Chelsea on this one, but I wouldn't be upset at all. I wouldn't even blink an eye if Meechin walked out with the belt. But the
Yeah.
next match we're gonna be talking about is Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I This is kind of like how I felt about Shinsuke and LA Knight. Shinsuke came back what a week or two before the match, and then all of a sudden got a match at the pay-per-view for the belt and won it. And the match was okay. It wasn't nothing to write home about, but it was decent. It was serviceable.
It was like short. The only problem was it was too short.
Yeah,
Uh, but I'm gonna be real. I think it was absolutely okay for Shinsuke to win. I think, in
and it did.
fact, I think it was a good thing that Shinsuke won because it now presented his new gimmick, his new Sith Lord Samurai gimmick, as a threat, as a proper threat. Like, now
Hmm.
you're even having the bloodline be like, okay, no, we're not gonna mess with this guy. Like, it's good. It's perfect presentation. It's probably the best presentation in the entire company right now.
I would
Uh,
agree. But the thing is, like I was saying, it's like I feel like they kind of rushed the feud just a little bit too quickly as far as putting it on the pay per view. Like if
for
they would
sure.
have just dragged it out a little bit more, you could have done this at Saturday Night Main Event if you were being honest. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel with this one. You could have literally dragged this feud out just a little bit more because like you had Drew come back, he attacked Sammy. Sammy comes out the next week, says, you know what, we're facing on the pay-per-view. Like, no, I wanted to see them drag this feud out a little bit.
I mean,
Maybe you
at
say this
least
for first Raw on Netflix, maybe?
at least they, what's it called? Sammy gave the reason of, what's it called? No, I don't want this to go on again. Because we already seen this before. And Sammy doesn't want to go back to like hashing things out with Drew multiple times. Like, so just this is like probably a one and done thing. If anything, I think the actual feud that is going to kind of drag out a little is possibly actually not even. Sorry, the feud that's going to be run back
is him and
Sammy
and
and
KO.
Roman.
Maybe on the first, maybe probably like on the first Raw of Netflix.
On Netflix, Drew McIntyre will go after Roman Reigns.
Because it seems like when he's came back, and it's just me, maybe personally, it feels like Drew is on, like he's gone bloodline hunting.
Yeah.
Because he took out Jay. Now he's taking on Sammy. He can't go after like Jimmy because Jimmy's injured, so he can't do that. But I'm pretty sure if he wasn't, he probably would have taken him out too. And now he's facing Sammy, and then I think before that you have him and Roman, which I think they're probably going to say for what Saturday, not even Saturday Night Main Event, but probably like first Raw on Netflix because you know they want him on that show. But for some reason, I don't think Drew will be on that brand. I think he probably gets moved over to SmackDown.
Maybe.
Because I don't, unless you're going to have him printed to be the guy that beats Cody.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, yeah, you could.
Because I wouldn't mind that because you have the story there. Both guys left the company and made a big deal of themselves outside the company and came back better than ever.
Hell, I wouldn't mind if they just completely surprise us and maybe we get Cody and Drew at Mania.
The
only way they do that, the Rumble. McIntyre wins the Rumble, goes after Cody.
Either they do that or he wins the Chamber again.
That too.
Because he did win the Chamber this year.
Probably better to win the Rumble. It's just more.
The last time he won the Rumble was literally like almost 4 years ago in 2020.
2020.
He won that one to face Lesnar, went on, and his whole thing still is he's never held a championship in front of an actual crowd. Even though he kind of somewhat technically did that with the world title, beating Seth at Mania, but having the moment taken away from him by CM Punk, which led to a cash-in. So it's like he still wants that moment. He's still trying to get that moment and accomplish that. But honestly, this might be a hot take based off how they've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to make Drew a big deal and potentially setting him up against Roman, I think we need Drew to come out guns blazing and pretty much like literally destroy Sami Zayn. Maybe a squash match, or it's a situation where Sammy gets little to no offense.
I think what needs to happen is that what you can do is Drew wins here, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to.
And he's ready to injure Sammy. He's about to injure Sammy.
And Roman
Jimmy comes out. And Roman.
Jimmy's hurt because he has a broken toe, so I don't see.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And Jay, Roman, he's not cleared.
Yeah. I mean, well, Jay is not.
He's Jay not. They already say he's not medically cleared right now. In storyline.
Yeah. But I'm saying at Saturday they could clear him, like because in storyline
they could. And
they could have Jay come out. They could have Roman come out. Roman comes.
I prefer the Roman idea to literally tease that's going to be his next big feud.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how long the feud is going to be between Drew and Roman. But my thing is this, and we've seen these two feud before. But my thing is this. They've always, every time that they have decided to make these two clash with each other, Roman has always won. I mean, you go back to WrestleMania 35. It was Roman and Drew.
Yeah.
Roman won, but we knew why, because he just came back from battling leukemia, and they wanted to make him, get a big
Look
win.
good. Yeah.
And then you go over to 2020. Fast forward, both of them were champion. Roman beat Drew again. Fast forward again, 2 years later.
Clash at the Castle.
People would clamor for it.
Yep.
And what happened?
Roman
Drew defeated again by Roman Reigns. So now with him pretty much going 3-0, he needs it.
That is why I would say Drew beats Roman.
I say we make it a best of 3 possibly.
Yeah. I say, like, I could say, like, or at the very least, at minimum, Drew wins the first match against Roman Reigns.
To establish that this guy is not a joke to be playing around with. Like, he's literally on business, and he does not care who you are. If you're in his crosshairs, you are literally in trouble. That's what we need from him.
Yeah.
So you're going Drew, I'm going Drew here. Yeah. And it may be with a potential Roman Reigns or Jey Uso coming down afterwards. But the next match we're going to be talking about is a triple threat for the World Championship. Now, originally it was going to be Finn Balor and Gunther, but last night on Raw it was changed to a triple threat. Now, people have been saying different ideas as far as, Gunther's retaining. I'm going to say Gunther retains, but there is a possibility they could potentially do something big here. And that is Finn Balor winning the World Championship here. Because I can see a part now, and this is the thing. The world title, unlike the WWE Championship, doesn't need to have a lengthy reign. I don't think either one of them have to have lengthy reigns. You can have not even transitionary periods, but like have some reigns, but like you drop it maybe for a little bit, then maybe win it back. I can see like Gunther winning the title back at a Royal Rumble.
I'll be honest. For me, I think this match specifically, anyone can win.
Yeah. Well, I don't see Damian winning. I don't.
I think there is a small chance. It's most likely not going to happen, but I could understand if they give it to Damian.
Yeah.
Balor wins the Rumble. You have Damian Priest versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Balor wins.
And here's the thing, and we've even talked about it, I think, even a few podcast episodes before, like on the Flex Zone. They've been saying that in 2025 they have big plans for him.
For Balor, yeah.
And if you're talking about having big plans for a Finn Balor, what better way to establish that as a fact by putting the world title on him heading into 2025? And you can still have him win the belt without having to pin Gunther. You can. Right. It doesn't mean that's the whole thing. Why do people keep, bringing up the fact time and time again we have multi-man matches? You don't have to be pinned to lose your championship.
And if
somebody else can be pinned.
And if Balor wins the title, it opens up plenty of different options for the Rumble. Because they could give it to, they could have Priest win the Rumble and challenge Balor.
Could you imagine this match at Mania? Because people have been saying we're gonna probably do Gunther and maybe Cena. Could you imagine Cena and Finn Balor? Like those two would kill. That match would be so fire.
What's it called? You could have, just Sammy. Maybe you could have
Dominic. Think about
Dominic, yeah.
Because those two have kind of been teasing some tension. Dominic wins the Rumble and beats Finn at Mania for the world title.
Well,
oh my god!
But I mean Dominic winning the Rumble, but and then that's how I think Money in the Bank's more likely. Turn Balor face again.
Or maybe, like people have been saying, potentially. I don't know how you would do that. Potentially turning Dominic face, but I don't. It
I
would.
don't
It's
think.
not.
I
It's
think
not that I
Balor
don't.
would be much easier. It would be much easier
It's
to
not
turn
that
Balor
it's
face.
not possible to turn Dominic face, but it would take
It's
a lot of convincing
yeah,
to buy into him as a face again.
yeah.
But like,
I think it does. I don't think it makes sense. I think it's easier just to have Balor like when if he wins the title, he becomes face. Um,
yeah,
what's it called? You could have uh plenty of different options. You could have a LA Knight win, like regardless, LA like whoever's world heavyweight champion. Asa, what's it called? When I did WWE Weekly with him, um, he suggested LA Knight win the Rumble. Um,
mm,
yeah,
mhm.
so like regardless who's champion here, and then apparently, allegedly, because the first Raw on Netflix is in LA, LA Knight will be
LA
there.
Knight, yeah.
Yes, LA Knight will be on Raw Netflix premiere, so
And here's the
allegedly.
and here's the thing, like, and you know what they've been saying? They've been still. I know they haven't really made mention of it recently, but you still got to think that they're at some point in time, they're gonna want to do Goldberg versus Gunther. Do I want it? No, but Goldberg is still gonna be trying to get something from Gunther. He's still they might have that match.
That is I do wanna talk about that because that I am concerned
Maybe
if
that's how he loses.
Gunther yeah, I'm saying I'm scared that if Gunther remains champion and keeps being champion all the way until WrestleMania,
Oh no, Gunther Goldberg win the Royal Rumble.
Goldberg wins the Rumble, yeah.
Oh nah, people would be pissed. People gonna turn off their screens. You got people walking
You
out the
have to
building
turn Gunther
making
face
fun.
at that point.
Oh, you have to. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to turn him face.
Because
Nobody is going
everyone's
to.
gonna Goldberg's gonna be the heel because everyone's gonna boo him out of the
Speaking of Finn
building.
Balor,
Hell.
and we were just talking about you. We hope you win the world title, man. You got to win it. You got to win the world title. We need it. It's been way too long. But like, we need Finn Balor to win this world title. We really do. It's just long overdue, and I don't understand. I don't know what it is. It seems like bad luck. It's always bad luck for Finn. I don't understand why. It seems like every time he's in a position to where he can win a world championship, it's always somebody that's a bigger star. It's always somebody like Brock Lesnar. It's always Roman Reigns or
Yeah.
Seth Rollins. I don't understand how he didn't win it last year when we had him and Seth.
Yeah, that's wild.
Especially if
Like,
they
I
kept bringing up the
understand the
7 years
money
thing.
like, yeah, I understand the Money in the Bank thing, like, he loses that Money in the Bank and then but, like, SummerSlam,
There was no excuse he
I
should have lost that.
yeah. I understand, like, oh, we don't wanna make it, like, too hot potato-y, but
You and here's and there's been other opportunities that they even reported he was going to win the world title. Like I even think going into Royal Rumble 2018, he was a favorite to win. He was
yeah,
literally the final four. It was him, Shinsuke, John Cena, and Roman Reigns.
yeah,
People who wanted to see Finn Balor
Balor.
potentially win that. Yes, he was in that great Intercontinental Championship triple threat with the Miz and Seth Rollins. But why is it he's always it seems to come up short and
Can
always
you
playing second fiddle to the
imagine
Shield brothers?
yeah. I mean, can you imagine because the thing is we got Nakamura who won that Rumble. Can
Yeah.
you imagine if what's it called? Instead of Nakamura, it was Balor. AJ versus
Oh
Balor
my
at
god.
WrestleMania?
Oh my god. I would have literally
And
dropped
there would be
everything
no
to go
need
see
for
it.
Demon even, like, he would just be AJ Balor
Did you
and
not see the match that literally Finn Balor as the demon had
yeah,
against
against AJ, yeah.
against AJ?
It was incredible.
Bro, even it was an
Yeah,
impromptu match. That match was literally my favorite match of that year
yeah,
in
it was good.
2017. That
Yeah,
was my favorite match outside of the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam.
it was very good.
And
Yeah,
it's like he carried NXT during the pandemic while you had Drew carrying Raw and Roman carrying SmackDown. People don't give him credit for that he carried the pandemic on it for NXT.
Yeah.
He planted his flag again. And you brought him up to lose to Roman Reigns again.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't
Like,
genuinely
I
get it.
understand him losing against Tribal Chief, but I don't know if we should have brought the Demon for that, but it was unlucky.
Then why
So.
did you have him lose to Edge? That was a waste of the Demon character for me.
No, I understand. I knew as soon as what's it called, they made Edge lose the I Quit match. I knew that eventually Edge was going to win to end the feud. In my opinion, it probably should have been reversed. It probably should have been Edge won the I Quit match, and Balor kind of snaps and everything, and then Edge could still challenge Hell in a Cell because he's sick of Balor, but then Balor would win. I also think maybe it's also a possibility, like small possibility, that maybe they changed it because of Balor's head. Because
Maybe that's why. Because I think
maybe
there were plans to have him win that, but I think they maybe called an audible. But like,
because that was pretty bad. Like,
and then what was it?
but
2018? Not even 2018 Royal Rumble, but 2018 Money in the Bank. I feel like he could have won 2018's Money in the Bank.
who did he face?
Because
He
2018 he was in the Money in the Bank
match.
ladder match, but
Okay,
like
yeah.
I can
Who
literally look at
won
the
2018 ladder match?
I got it. Let me look.
Wasn't
Money in
that
the Bank.
wasn't Andrade in that one? Or
I think that was 2019, but
Okay.
like, let me look. 2018 Money in the Bank. Let's look. 2018 Money in the Bank. Okay, 2018 Money in the Bank. You had Kevin, and it was the men's Money in the Bank. You had Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Rusev, and it was Kofi Kingston.
Right, Strowman won that.
And here's the thing: if you go back to the end of the match, if you go to the end of the match, literally Finn Balor was on the ladder. He was literally still making his climb on the ladder while literally you had Braun Strowman on the top unhooking the briefcase.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. And then what was it? 2019, he was in it again. Let me look at, and this was 2019.
Yeah, that was the one with the Andrade.
2019, you had Ricochet, McIntyre, Corbin, Orton, Andrade, Ali, and then it was supposed to be Strowman, but Strowman got taken out and ended up being Lesnar.
And then Lesnar won. Yeah, that was.
But at this time, he was Intercontinental Champion too, because he won from Bobby before that, the month prior to that. Yeah. But still, there's no excuse that he has not won a Royal Rumble or won a Money in the Bank yet.
Right.
But like, hopefully that changes because I really want to see him win the title. But on to from one match next, we're going to talk about the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Io. Honestly, this might be a hot take, but this has the potential to be the best match of the night. Has potential.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This really could be Liv's toughest test yet outside of Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. This really could pretty much help her elevate to that next level in her career. This really has all the potential in the world to be her best match yet.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the go-home math, Io did hold the belt before the show. And usually that is an indication it's always a trope that they have in wrestling where if you hold the belt before the show or the pay-per-view, you are not winning. Now, early in the show, it was somewhat of a doubt because it's like Liv Morgan stood tall early in the show when she hit the Oblivion during that segment after the match with Dakota and Io and Liv. But I feel like if we're being honest, I don't want to see Rhea Ripley win it. And if anybody is to take the title from Liv right now, it is Io because she is, I would say, she's starting to transition into one of the biggest baby faces right now. People are really, really behind her. And I really feel like going into this show, she is going to get a huge pop. And people are going to be chomping at the bit to see her potentially walk away with that world title.
Yeah, because everyone knows that Io is one of the best
wrestlers.
One of the best female wrestlers on the planet, easily. For So yeah, for sure. But I don't see it.
And
I'd
I
have
don't know if
Liv.
it's just me, but this might be a stretch. What if Io won the Royal Rumble?
Good.
Have Io win the Royal
Completely
Rumble.
fine. Yeah.
There's been different ideas that
Run
I've
it
been seeing
back at
people
WrestleMania.
there. Now there's been different matches people have been or different iterations of what the world title scene could look like. All
Yeah.
still involve these two right here. I've been seeing Liv and Io straight up 1-on-1 with
Yeah.
Io winning the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
or you have if you want Rhea Ripley, unfortunately I don't. People have been throwing
Triple
out the
threat.
idea of triple threat between Liv, Io,
Io and
and
Rhea.
Rhea, or a fatal four way. And the fatal four way would pretty much be Liv, Io, Rhea, and Becky. Because I feel like those have pretty much been her three biggest feuds as champion to this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Now, you're because I feel like pretty much be the ones gunning for Liv. You're gonna still have that thing going with Rhea Ripley, which she's gonna want that belt. I don't know if you have. If I don't
I
know what
feel
they're
like
gonna do
the
with
only
Io.
thing you have with Becky and Liv is like, oh,
You thought
Liv
I was an
keep
early in retirement, but I
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah,
And you could have that. Maybe she wants that belt back. You know, you're gonna want, Rhea in a big storyline. You're gonna want Rhea in a big storyline. You're gonna want those two, and pretty much your biggest storylines going into the show for WrestleMania. And you still have Liv, who's still an up and coming, who is the champion. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Io. I don't see Io being in a tag team match because she's
no,
been doing tag team stuff like previous years. She finally got her one-on-one match with her and
yeah,
Bailey in a losing effort, of course, but still, she has still been able to put on some of the best matches. The match she had with Bianca on Raw, absolutely good. I already know if you put her and Rhea Ripley in a match, they're gonna kill it. I feel like this match is gonna do the same thing.
yeah,
And I think she even had a match with Becky. That match was good too. So you put
yeah,
all four of these women in the match. I don't know how you get there. One of them would presume would have to win the Rumble. I don't want it to be Becky or Rhea because they already won it.
yeah,
And if you were to give the championship to Io, I would pretty much say Liv would have to win the Rumble at that point. You would have to.
yeah,
Because if you're thinking about it, besides Rhea on Raw, and then whenever Becky comes back, Io is your biggest star that you have right now. Until
yeah.
you potentially bring over other people from SmackDown with this whole um wild card rule
I
that they're
mean,
doing.
I've already given my choice for who I think Liv should fight at, right?
Alexa. Now
Just because
Alexa
I
makes
thought it
sense.
would be interesting, and yeah,
Now I can see that, but Alexa would have to be the goddess and she would have to be a face. She cannot be any
she,
way, shape, or form be
I,
aligned with Soul Uncle Howdy
no,
thing.
no, no. She's not gonna be aligned with the Wyatts, I don't think. I think
No.
she's probably just gonna do something new, completely new. And honestly, yeah, I think she should come back as a face, especially since she's been gone for like
If you're facing Liv, she has to be a face because Liv
yeah.
is the
Well,
heel right now.
not just not like forget Liv for a second. Like
Yeah.
right now, Alexa needs to be a face. Cause she has been gone for like two
What, 2
years.
years? Yeah,
Two
because
years.
her last match was with Bianca at Royal Rumble
Was with Bianca
2023.
at Royal Rumble. Yeah, we're heading and what was it was 2023? Yeah, so
Yeah.
2
So
years.
we're headed into like 2 years with her being out of the ring. And
She
I think
probably will
recent
come back at the Rumble. I assume. Um, I expected her to be back at the Rumble, as a surprise, but
because I would say
hopefully,
she wins the Royal Rumble or Chamber, but we already seen her win the Chamber. I think she won the first one when she defended
yeah,
the Raw Women's title. So she's already has that win on her belt. She's already won Money in the
right.
Bank.
Yeah,
Have
a
her win
Rumble win would be
Rumble.
big for her. Yeah,
Because people would find it shocking in a sense because people would be going into it like, oh, Rhea Ripley. Because I've been seeing people nonstop talking about Royal Rumble, and everybody says, oh, it's going to be Rhea Ripley. It's going to be Rhea Ripley. It's going to be Rhea
it's gonna
Ripley.
be Rhea
No,
Ripley. It's gonna be Becky Lynch. It's gonna
it's
be
going to be
Charlotte
Charlotte.
Flair.
How
Uh,
about
I
screw?
can understand
How about
Charlotte
that?
slightly, but only
Charlotte's
if
makes sense, but I don't want to see it because we already
the
seen it.
only way I would accept Charlotte winning the Rumble is if she comes back beforehand, she fights Nia,
She gets
Tiffany
cashed in
cashes
on.
in,
during
cashed
that
in on
match, and then
Tiffany
she wins the Rumble.
pins Charlotte.
Yeah, and then that would set things up. But her just
Yeah.
straight up winning, going into the Royal Rumble and winning,
Yeah,
no.
and winning.
And if,
Yeah.
like you said, people have been saying, "Oh, it's gonna be Rhea Ripley, it's gonna be Charlotte, it's gonna be it's gonna be Becky."
Becky.
How about like people going into that and by the end of the show, pretty much WWE says, "Screw all of them. We're gonna throw you a curveball, and we're gonna have Alexa win."
That
And
would
she
be
picks
huge.
Liv.
Huge. Yeah, and she
Now
picks
the
Liv. Yeah.
path for Rhea Ripley is unclear. The path for Becky is unclear, and the path for Io is unclear. Now Io would probably be a runner-up for me, who to potentially win.
Yep.
If it's now, unfortunately, Liv is not going to be in it. Like she made that very clear in an episode or a podcast she was on a couple of months ago. She said she's not going to be in it because she's champion. Now, if she wasn't in it, then I think she would probably be the candidate to win. However, probably 2026 might be the year she does win. If it's not going to be 2025, but 2026 for sure. But like having Alexa Bliss in the mix would be something refreshing because it's been so long since we've seen her be in a main title program and pretty much being on a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
In a big high profile storyline. I'm going to be honest. The last time she was really in a big storyline on her own was probably Nia Jax at WrestleMania 34.
Yep.
And what happened? She lost to Nia.
Yep.
And what, 35? I don't think she was doing anything. I don't think she was doing anything at 35. I don't think she competed on that card. I don't think she competed on WrestleMania 35.
Let me check.
I don't think she competed at that show. I think she was doing some backstage.
She was the host.
Yeah, she was the host. So she wasn't at 35. 36, she won the tag titles. 37, I don't think she was on, if I'm mistaken. 38, she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't on WrestleMania 38. She wasn't on 39. And she wasn't at 40.
37, she was
she had to be
with the Fiend.
Yeah, and then she turned. But
she turned on the Fiend, yeah.
But competing though?
No,
has been since WrestleMania 36. But the last time she's been on her own in a singles capacity, WrestleMania 34. So it's kind of like we're long overdue for a moment like that with her back in the forefront.
Yeah.
Like, look at the stuff she was doing in 2017, 2018. She came into SmackDown and she beat Becky Lynch. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
And she was carrying
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
I'd honestly and I would be very happy with another Alexa Bliss title reign.
And she lost it at Mania 33. Yeah. She was champion at WrestleMania 33 and 34. Because she was SmackDown Women's Champion and she was Raw Women's Champion back years. Yeah, so I would say she's all overdue.
Honestly, and the thing is, I've kind of started to like not care about what the IWC like think. Oh, this is the WrestleMania match. Like, no, clearly you people don't know what you're talking about because last year you all swore up and down that Becky and Rhea was going to be like the best women's match ever created. It was a Raw main event at best.
It was boring.
It was a good match, especially given the fact that Becky was sick. Like, props to her, but
and Rhea Ripley. I think she had some type of thing going on as well.
Yeah, but like despite like it was good, but it was not WrestleMania 40.
And
honestly, the reason why we keep having this Liv and Rhea thing dragged out this much is because it did not happen at WrestleMania 40.
So I was just about to bring that up because if you're looking back on it with it being Rhea and Becky, do you think it would have been better if it was Liv instead of Becky?
Yes.
I totally agree.
Yes.
I look back on it and I want to give an opportunity, even though I had my look.
I don't think it would have been like, I don't think what it was going to be what the IWC were saying Rhea and Becky would be. I don't think it would be better than Rhea Charlotte.
No, I wouldn't hold it to that, but I think
but it would be much better than it would be at the very least it would have the build that it's had. And it would like probably be the best built thing honestly,
going into WrestleMania 40,
in all of Mania, except Roman and Cody. problem.
And I feel like you said, would you say like with her not being on WrestleMania 40 at all and not even having a match and not even being in the title picture, do you think for WWE they're making it up to all the fans who wanted to see that match by having her have this long, lengthy reign and actually having her walk in as champion?
I can understand that, yes, but I do think the problem is this forcing of Rhea Ripley being in
Yeah,
this with involved with Liv this long, and also kind of overbooking her to be like kind of
way
invincible
too
is
dominant.
way too
Way
dominant.
because
Um
what
for
was it?
me, I hate saying this, but it's very reminiscent of
Brock and
Liv's
Roman.
first reign with Ronda.
Oh, I
Uh,
absolutely agree because it's like my problem with Rhea, right?
I don't
Is
think it'll
one,
end
so
the same way. I don't think they'll give it. I can't see them giving it back to Rhea. Um, I especially since we've already reached this long and they haven't done it. Because if they wanted to give it back to Rhea, then I feel like they would have done so already by now.
so
Um,
my question is this, right? I'm gonna throw this question to you. So if we're getting to WrestleMania 40, right, and we see Liv and Rhea, should or do you think WWE will do it again and have Liv Morgan beat Rhea Ripley at Mania, maybe by herself, and walk out of WrestleMania 41 as champion still?
yes,
I really think so too, because like you said,
yeah,
going back to what happened with the problem is if you give the title back to Rhea, it is reminiscent of her and Ronda. The same person she beats for the title takes it back. But in this case, she didn't really technically beat Rhea for the title. She pretty much injured her and won it from Becky.
yeah.
But still, it would still be reminiscent in the sense of the person that was champion
I mean,
before
she
her
won at
beats her.
SummerSlam. She won at Bad
She
Blood. Well, no,
Well, let's be honest. She
no,
hasn't
Rhea
really gotten
won, but she kept the belt
and
at Bad
what was
Blood.
it? She because think about it. If we're really being honest, if we're looking at the feud, Rhea has gotten the upper hand on Liv time and time again. That's why I think it
On
should
TV.
be no,
On
no, no.
TV.
Because think about it. On TV, right? Think about it.
Yeah,
Liv wins at SummerSlam,
yeah,
pin. She loses in a mixed tag and takes the pin at what was it, Bash in Berlin?
right.
She
Pretty much.
loses
Yeah.
via DQ at Bad Blood.
Which
So Rhea
which
has those two
was
wins,
not in her control because
not
at
under
Bad
control.
Blood
Yeah,
she was supposed to win clean. Well, not
exactly.
clean, but
But
she was
still
supposed
supposed
to
to pin her.
pin Rhea.
And then
But
so technically, even though they couldn't change the rules because of what happened,
yeah,
Rhea now has 2 wins over her, and then pinned her at Survivor Series.
yeah,
That's
that
3 wins to
wild.
Liv's 1.
Yeah,
If you're looking at overall, Liv only has 2 wins, and pretty much that's 4-2.
yeah,
You literally would have to have her win at WrestleMania to submit herself as the woman. And then after that post Mania, if it's gonna be these two going into WrestleMania, if it's not gonna be anybody else, you have Alexa Bliss come in. You have a Bianca Belair come over. Those are 2 big stars you can
and
have go
if
up
you
there.
don't want and if you want to take the title off Liv afterwards, Raw after Mania, have her drop the title.
Or maybe she or it's a situation where maybe something happens where she gets stripped of the title.
Maybe.
And then maybe she gets moved over to SmackDown because you also got to think next year is SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is going to be in her backyard of New Jersey.
Yep.
You cannot tell me that either she's going to walk in as at SummerSlam next year as your women's world champion, or either be challenging for a women's championship, regardless if that's the one that's on SmackDown currently or the mid card titles. She is going to pretty much be walking in as a champion next year at SummerSlam or potentially winning another.
Yeah.
I even said by the time she retires, she's going to be a 6-time women's champion, and she will be. But let's on to a different story. But on to the next match that we're going to be talking about, which I believe is the main event.
Cody
Kevin,
Rhodes
Cody.
versus Kevin Owens. Yes, this is the main event.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Kevin deserves to beat Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens should beat Cody Rhodes here, but Cody Rhodes is going to retain, unfortunately. I don't know how
Yeah.
this happens. You could literally do how Kevin Owens won the NXT championship. Like, he beat Sammy. He didn't pin him. He didn't submit him. He pretty much won via ref stoppage, and they had to get the title. They handed the title over to Kevin. And as a result, could they do that? Absolutely. This would protect Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens won the championship. He can gloat about it, and this would add more to his character, but it also protects Cody Rhodes in the process because now
Yeah.
he didn't get pinned, he didn't get submitted, so he has a legit claim to circle back around to win that title back, whether if it's at the
Right.
Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. And I even said it before: if done correctly, if they're gonna bring back Randy Orton in this match during this show, this has all the makings of the potential to be a triple threat at Mania. I would not be upset if
Yeah.
I know people want to see Randy and Cody, which I think is going to be a good match, but with the way they're doing this story, I would not bat an eye if some way somehow Randy Orton wins the Royal Rumble, but somehow with how Kevin Owens is, he sneaks his way in by maybe winning a match with Randy Orton on a SmackDown or Cody on SmackDown and gets a cheap win. Therefore, he's added, and now it's a triple threat.
I have an idea of how things can go. They could swerve us, they could surprise us. They can decide that Randy returns during this match, turns on Cody, punt kicks Cody.
Wait. Run it
Punk
back.
kicks Cody.
Punk?
Punt. The punt kick.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cody. No. So you're telling me Kevin Owens punt kicks Cody?
No. Randy comes back, turns on Cody by punt kicking him.
Wow. Now
And-
that will be a shock because then it's like
and he helps Kevin win the title.
that would literally send shockwaves. No
Mania,
pun intended, to the
with
AEW show
no
they're
title
planning.
involved, you have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and you have Kevin Owens versus Royal Rumble winner Sami Zayn.
Woo!
Or the
Oh,
Undisputed.
I would love that. Oh, I would love that so much.
That would be crazy.
Because now you can still have Randy and Cody non-title.
And the
Kevin
thing
can do
is,
something else.
because they haven't really said anything about like how are things gonna go, like especially given Randy, like we know Cody's going to Raw. Is Kevin going to follow him? Is Randy just gonna come back, screw Kevin, stay babyface, and they have Kevin versus Randy as like the main feud of SmackDown?
Yeah, because you got a point, because that's gonna really change a lot of things up. We know, like I mentioned earlier before we hopped on here for the stream, that Raw, at least for Raw Netflix, the biggest 3 stars that they want is Cody, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. We don't know where Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are gonna be at. We don't know if they're gonna be on Raw. We don't know if they're gonna be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That would literally send shockwaves, no pun intended, to the AEW show that they're planning on making, called AEW Shockwave. But this would literally have people talking. He comes back, and then the story could be, were they in cahoots this entire time?
Yeah. And not only that, you could, or if you want to keep Randy face because of the fact that we're selling this pile driver thing, we're selling this like next
he wins the Rumble and challenges Kevin.
Yeah, or you could have what's it called, the final 2 of the Rumble. You keep Cody as champ, you keep like you have Cody and Gunther still as champs heading into WrestleMania. The final Kevin, 2, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And
people would really
you could even if you like really want to go all the way, you could have them also start the Rumble.
That would be cool. because that would kind of
and
get
they
back to
both
what
go all
happened.
the way.
Because I
Until
think this would be like reminiscent of what happened in 2023 in the women's. It was Liv and Rhea that started, and they finished the
yep,
final
and
two.
they
You could
finished it.
have them go run the gauntlet and be the final two in there. Um, like I like the Sami Zayn idea because then this will really be a good story because we know that those two are gonna cross paths at some point.
Yeah,
Because I think even on SmackDown, Kevin even made mention the same. He says, "I'm gonna
yeah,
deal with him later."
yep.
He can win that championship. Sammy wins the Rumble or he wins the Chamber. Because you think about it, it makes
Because
more
we
sense to win
know
the Chamber.
OG Bloodline is going to be on Raw, and Cody's going to be on Raw. So honestly, you could move Kevin to Raw as well.
But it would make way more sense if they're gonna do the story with Sammy, facing Kevin for the title. If
Yeah,
Sammy won the Chamber because it's in Toronto, Canada, every time Sami Zayn
true.
steps foot in a Canadian soil and it's on a show. Look what happened at Chamber last year in 2023. One of the biggest pops on the show.
Yep.
People wanted to see him beat Roman Reigns. People were literally going crazy for WWE to change the plans and have
People wanted Sammy versus Cody at WrestleMania, and it would like
that would have
we
hit
knew it
such
wasn't gonna
shockwaves.
happen, but it was
And people were
something. Like,
heartbroken when he didn't.
yeah,
And this really opens up the opportunity for more people can get their eyes on that belt. Like this opens up the opportunity for, like you said, this will open up the opportunity for Sami Zayn, for AJ Styles to get another run with the belt. Open up the opportunity for maybe a Austin Theory at some point. Open up the door for what's another guy that would probably benefit? Montez, Carmelo, Andrade. Like those are six
Andrade
guys
would
right
do
there.
so
And
well.
it was another guy who I think would benefit winning that title. Like maybe a Dominic if he was over on SmackDown on his own. If you
Yep.
wanted to, Jey Uso. Because
Yeah.
that people wanted to see Jey Uso finally get that world title. Him holding that belt too. And if, like I said, going back to what we said earlier, whoever holds that WWE championship, the one that Cody has right now, that pretty much is a signal that whoever holds that belt is the biggest star in the company. And right now, he is one of the biggest stars in the company, Jey Uso. He's get some of the
Mhm.
biggest pops every single time he steps in an arena.
Yep.
His merch flies. People love him.
And
So why
not
wouldn't you
and
reward
it
him?
shows exactly how much, and not to mention it's clear that WWE loves him because yes, while he did start War Games,
He
he
was the
came
last to
out
enter
he came out after CM Punk and
in
Roman
Roman.
Reigns. That is insane. That is
You
huge.
know
That
what? If you have Jay in the Royal Rumble, have him win and face Kevin. If Kevin
yeah,
beats
if
Cody,
Kevin beats Cody, yeah, for sure.
because because same thing with Drew. Kevin is kind of doing the same thing.
Not
Bloodline
not
Rumble.
only that, you could also have it also opens for like LA Knight to face Kevin.
It
There's
does. It really
yeah, there's
does.
plenty
Because you have people that potentially are going to be coming up potentially. If you have either Dragunov go over to
yeah,
SmackDown, that's going to be a money feud right there.
right.
Sami Zayn right now, it probably be the most personal because, like, going back to what they
Even
said,
though
was it?
probably Ilya would, if Ilya's gonna be on SmackDown, he's probably gonna go after Gunther, who will
Yeah,
probably be on SmackDown. Yeah.
but like going back
Um,
to what Sammy said, Kevin Owens said
and
he's gonna deal with Sammy later, and going back to what was it, 2017 when right before we seen Sammy turn heel to join Kevin, there was an interaction that these two had, and Sami Zayn was kind of going down Kevin Owens accolades. You were U.S. champion, you were Universal champion, and I wasn't. But
yep,
someday my time will come, and I will do it the right way. Circle back around a couple years down the line, he wins the
yep.
World Rumble and beats Kevin Owens to win his first World Championship.
It would be huge for him. It would be absolutely fitting, and not to mention, it could still also open up for other people. Like another thing is, despite them being in a tag team and probably going to stay in the tag team division, uh, for a while at least, uh, starting their WWE careers, um, is the two that were just WWE Tag Team Champions, Motor
Motor
City.
City. Alex
Could you
Shelley.
imagine Alex Shelley versus Kevin
Ooh.
Owens? Alex Shelley
Chris
versus
Sabin?
Sami Zayn, Chris Sabin versus Kevin Owens, Chris Sabin versus Sami Zayn.
If you wanted
Either
to,
of them fighting Cody. Like,
could you imagine if they were to do something like if think about it like this, right?
yeah,
What was one of the classics for NXT going back into Black and Gold that people remember? And he's and the guy's on the roster, and we talked about him earlier.
no,
Not Gargano, but that would be a cool match too.
Yeah.
You can't get it. You don't know him.
Who are we talking about here right now? Oh,
If he turns face,
mm-hmm.
Finn Balor, Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, yeah.
That match will be so fire. And it's for the WWE Championship. They fought for the NXT title. It would make all the sense in the world. Like, he gets betrayed by the Judgment Day, all of them.
Yep.
And then he gets shipped over
to SmackDown. I can't see JD like betraying him. I could see Dominic like Liv or Kella. But like I feel like if one person's gonna stick with him, it's gonna be JD.
Or maybe Carlito, but Carlito might stay behind because I feel like they've been
Carlito, I think, is gonna be kicked. He's just gonna leave. He's just gonna do his own thing.
Because it felt like they were kind of going down this potential romance angle, maybe between him and Raquel.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it seems like they're planning on splitting the Judgment Day in two. It's gonna be JD, Carlito, and Finn, and then Dom, Liv, Raquel.
Now, if they do this Judgment Day thing split, do you see if they're gonna keep Dom, Liv, and Raquel heels? Could we see a situation where they might start recruiting other people?
Oh,
maybe Alexa Bliss in a part of I don't know.
I don't
just thought about it, but not in a group. But if you want to put somebody that's not really doing something right now that could benefit by doing something, you could, or bring somebody up from NXT. I mean, where has Kiana James been? She's been out injured, but if you want to bring her back and make a statement, maybe have her be part of this faction. Or if you want to add other men to the faction to balance it out, you can. I don't know what faction you would put with them. I always thought before his release, Baron Corbin as a lone wolf would have fit this group really good.
Maybe. So I'm just talking about NXT. It is happening right now. Tony D'Angelo offered Ethan Page a North American title shot tonight.
Oh, I might need to watch that now.
And then we got what's it called? Cora, Roxanne brawling with Kalani and Julia.
Makes sense. I don't know what they're doing with Kalani right now because it's like they're keeping her in the forefront, but not really. Yeah. After losing that title, she hasn't really done much.
Yeah,
and I don't think they're elevating her to like being in the main event. No, and she's not main roster ready.
Definitely not. No. Probably she's just gonna keep on having matches,
big feuds,
like probably feuding with Cora. I don't know.
But yeah, you guys, that was our predictions for Saturday Night Main Event. Comment down below your predictions as well. Finn Balor stopped in to say hey to us and said he's going to be the world champion. We will be watching to see if he does win the world championship this Saturday. I'm definitely clamoring for that. Wolf, do you have anything to share before we head out today?
I don't think so. I'm gonna be hanging with No Bones About Wrestling throughout the week, probably.
Okay.
What's it called? Tomorrow I'm probably gonna be doing AEW stuff with them.
Gotcha. Now, we'll probably talk more about that later. I know we plan the next video. But you guys super kick the like button, Superman punch the post notification bell, and spear the subscribe button. We're on the road to 50 subscribers on our podcast channel. Go subscribe to Wolf, Willie. He will be in our next podcast episode. You'll see what that is next week. But we'll see you guys very, very soon. Too sweet, and we are out of here. You guys have a nice day, you guys.